Welcome to all participants of this webinar about in-house repair processes on C4HANA. My name is Sven Kohl. I'm responsible at Westernacher for the practice marketing, sales and service, and this unit is mainly dealing with sales and service processes. We are experienced in the business processes as such and have a vision for these processes on any SAP solution. I would like to hand over to Charlotte Price for the presentation.
We'd like to start this webinar with a quote. There's a big difference between a satisfied customer and a loyal customer. Never settle for satisfied. This is a quote from Shep Heiken, a customer service expert. We've selected this quotation for the webinar because it highlights that a performed service can satisfy the needs of a customer, but does not make the customer loyal to a company. Only the best of the best service can do this. What we'll talk about today is in-house repair as a general topic. At first, we will discover a standard repair process. Then we will check briefly about the SAP solutions that are available to cover such a scenario. As a next step, we'll map the process flow to C4HANA. Finally, we'll do a live demo about the repair process in our C4HANA box. In this webinar, we'll start with a discovery journey about a typical in-house repair process flow. We know that each company might have special processes, but most will find their core process in these steps. We start our process with a customer call. This step could be a call in the call center, or it could be a chat from a sales representative in a customer facility. The customer has to be identified in the first place. That's an easy task for the sales representative in the customer facility, as well as for the call center if this is a known phone number. The customer is requesting a service of any kind. This process step could be the starting point of this entire process. Social media posts with a complaint about a broken down device could automatically create this ticket. The company representative might have knowledge about the customer's issue. A search for a solution could be performed with the knowledge articles and a solution provided to the customer by mail. Our demo process would then end at this step. But that would be a very brief webinar. During the call, it becomes obvious that the equipment needs an inspection or has to be repaired by a service technician. An in-house repair document is created to trigger this process. When creating the in-house repair order, the system checks automatically for an existing service contract. A service contract can hold special terms and conditions as price agreements with the customer. The contract holds the covered and entitled products and services. Depending on the contract, the repair of the part could be free of charge. Since we are in a webinar about in-house repair, we request the customer to send the equipment back to the warehouse. But this service incident could also trigger a visit from a service technician at the customer's facility too. The returns location has to be determined. It could be the closest repair shop to the customer, or it could be the central repair centre for the product group. A goods return is expected to happen in the warehouse. The customer equipment has to be checked to find out why it's malfunctioning or how much effort is required to repair the part. To trigger that process, we need a diagnosis. A service technician has to be determined who's qualified to do the diagnosis, service, and provide an estimate for the expected repair efforts. When the technician has finished his work, the service is confirmed. The effort of the technician will be recorded in a timesheet. The cost of the diagnosis will be tracked in the financial books and in controlling. The costs are tracked against the in-house repair order. In case the customer has a service contract, the costs are tracked against such contracts. The estimated time and effort to repair the product will be quoted to the customer. The quotation will include a potential service contract coverage for the repair and the included service parts. Mixed scenarios may happen where the repair is included, but not the service parts for the repair. The customer will accept the service or not. If the part cannot be repaired, a standard process could trigger scrapping of the customer's part in the warehouse or trigger a return of the part to the customer. In case the customer accepts the quotation, the repair process can start. In a good scenario, estimated spare parts are already known at this stage. A service technician has to be determined who's qualified to perform the repair service. The estimated list of spare parts will be determined, but can be reduced, adjusted, and/or changed according to the parts the technician has actually used. Some general comments to the repair process. It might happen that a service contract was determined earlier and should cover the cost for the repair completely. In the case where the service technician realises during the repair that the cost of the repair isn't covered by the contract, for example, when seals are broken or it's obvious that the customer did some modifications, then the contractual coverage could be fully removed or adjusted partially. For the planned service parts, an available to promise ATP check could be performed to check if the parts are available before the repair starts. The spare parts will be reserved for this repair incident. When the repair process is completed, the service technician has to confirm that the work has been done. The stock level of the spare parts has to be adjusted by the expended quantity. The final transactions and the cost booking of the goods issue have to be booked. The effort of the repair technician will be recorded in a timesheet. The cost of the repair will be tracked in the financial books and in controlling. The costs are tracked against the in-house repair order. In a case where the customer has a service contract, the costs are tracked against this contract. When the actual work is completed, the only thing missing is to trigger the return of the repaired products to the customer. A goods issue will be booked for the customer part. A debit memo request might be triggered about the working time of the repair technician and the consumed spare parts. If a contract was assigned to this repair process, the covered services and spare parts will be adjusted by the level of coverage from 100% to 0. Billing will be performed according to all related transactions. The revenue bookings are transferred to the financials and controlling, and this step closes the overall process. Our demo process ends here. We know that in-house repair processes can differ. Some companies won't schedule the resources for the services. Some won't wait for a returned product to satisfy the customer needs and directly send a refurbished part to the customer, or even a new part. Many scenarios different scenarios are possible here. Within this webinar, we want to map these process steps into the SAP ecosystem. Saying that, we have to mention that for service topics, we currently have quite a few options in the SAP ecosystem. As a first option, we have CRM. The SAP Business Suite CRM is a mature and flexible on-premise solution with best practice service processes. The current official maintenance end for CRM on-premise is 2025. C4HANA is a cloud-based solution with mature service processes. Customizations of processes are possible with some limitations. C4HANA is fully integrated into ERP and S4HANA backend systems. C4HANA is considered as the front office solution for sales and service processes by SAP. C4HANA can be integrated into the aforementioned CRM on-premise processes. On S4HANA, the advanced returns management could be used for the in-house repair processes. This advanced returns management has a focus on all aspects of the returns process. In our perspective, the customer focus is not as great as in C4HANA. We now have to look into the near future. Customer management on S4HANA. The first set of features was just released by SAP, but the focus was on simple service processes. In-house repair is on the roadmap and will be available in 2020. It's expected that these processes are fully integrated in the C4HANA front office processes. And saying that, customer management is considered as the back office process of sales and service processes. In the following slides, we'll have a look into how the just discovered in-house repair process can be mapped. This was the last slide of the process flow that we discovered before. We'll now have a look into the core process. The wording is different. A service request is now an incident. An in-house repair order is now a work ticket. Everything service-related in C4HANA is initiated by a work ticket. A returns request is not a separate document. It will just be a separate item line. We have to mention that as of now, the C4HANA standard does not support the automatic integration of the returns of the defect part. As long as this integration doesn't exist, our vision is that this process will be triggered by a separate item called a returns request. Via a future custom-built solution, this item will have to trigger a returns order on S4HANA. This would trigger standard S4 features to receive the part. The status update to C4HANA would be a secondary built custom solution. A diagnosis item is a separate item line to the work ticket. The engine to schedule resource for the diagnosis is the resource scheduler. The service is not confirmed with a separate document. It is done by confirming the work ticket item. A repair item is a separate item line to the work ticket. The engine to schedule resource for the repair is the resource scheduler. The service is not confirmed with a separate document. It's done by confirming the work ticket item. A repaired return item is not a separate document. When the process is completed, the document is transferred to S4HANA. This will be the trigger to send out the repaired part to the customer. What we've seen so far is that the in-house repair process is available on C4HANA. The wording is different, and for a full integration, a custom solution has to be built. The in-house repair scenario is still a feasible scenario without the full integration, but it needs more effort. Up to this slide, we have just looked into the C4HANA standalone capabilities. We will now have a closer look into the integration aspects of the in-house repair process. To start the integration part of this webinar, we show again where we were in the process flow. In this slide, we've entered system boundaries of an integrated scenario. On the top of the slide, you see the C4HANA integrated into S4HANA, but this could also be an integration into an existing ERP system. On the bottom, you see the integration into a potential existing SCM system. Please have a look at the goods receipt process step in the top middle section. The goods receipt will be booked in S4HANA, and for this step, S4HANA needs to know about the returns. That means we need a returns document on S4 for the integration scenario. As already mentioned in this demo, this inbound logistic integration is a shortcoming in C4HANA's standard delivery as of now. A custom implemented solution has to trigger the returns logistics on S4 by initiating the creation of a returns document on the S4HANA side. To trigger the real inbound logistic process, an inbound delivery will be created in addition to the returns order. This step would be within the S4 standard solution. When the to-be-repaired part is received in the S4 system, it will update the inbound delivery and the returns document on S4HANA. The status update in the C4HANA returns request would be a second custom-built solution. This process would also work integrated with the connected EWM system, where the goods receipt would be booked first in EWM and then trigger the ERP booking. Please now have a look at the goods issue booking on the top right section of this slide that's connected to the repaired returns process step. To trigger the outbound logistic process in S4HANA, a repaired return document will be created. This is basically a sales order that will trigger the outbound logistics. To trigger the real outbound logistic process, an outbound delivery will be created in addition to the sales order. This step would be within the S4 standard solution. When the repaired part is goods issued in the S4 system, it will update the outbound delivery and the repaired returns document. This process would also be integrated into a connected EWM system where the goods issue would finally be booked in EWM. On this slide, we show the overall in-house repair processes, including that of other collateral processes. You can see that the financial bookings and the controlling integration in S4HANA is given as expected. This is the end of our slides, and we'd like to switch to the next part of our webinar, which is a live demo in our C4HANA demo system.
Hello, this is my part. So I'm logged in C4HANA as an administrator. So we decided for this presentation against using the specific roles of a service employee to show everything. So it would have been several roles as a service employee, a manager, a service employee, and a resource planner. So we went that route to use a role that is at the end too big for a specific user. So I will start with showing you around which data we prepared for this demo. So for that, I will go to the products. So we are in a service scenario. So we assume that a customer acquired a product from our company, and we, while selling this product, it was serialized, the product in the backend system, and it came back to C4HANA as a registered product. So we will search for it. So we have created a customer. It's the heavy equipment company. I'm searching now for the registered product for this company. So entering here heavy, I see the registered product 102 with this serial ID. So I will click on that. Here on this overview, you see that this is an active registered product with a reference date when it was created. It shows on the left-hand side already which product it includes or was the starting point for this equipment. So on the overview side, you see the customer, heavy equipment company, the address, our central contact. You see a product location where this registered product is. And here on the right-hand lower side, you see that this registered product includes a standard 1-year warranty, and it shows directly when the warranty starts and when it ends. So we don't have items in here. We have a involved parties block as normal with the most important information here. We could click into this partner. We have a ticket block where we see that we have a lot of issues with this machine since we prepared this demo. So we have a lot of incidents. I switch to the contracts. And from our perspective, it's best to sell a product that gets serialized in a perfect scenario with a service contract. So a service contract, it's a revenue that comes in on a monthly basis or quarterly, yearly, whatever. So it's a good revenue base. So clicking on the service contract, and here on the overview of this service contract, you see that some items are included. Repairs are included. The covered object, and that's the registered product, is here. You remember the serial ID. And here as well, if I click to tickets, I see that this contract was determined in a lot of tickets. We have items in this contract, and I will show you item 30 because that's the relevant one. So here we have a starting date of this contract, an end date, and the payment terms. Usually if usually during a sales or a service process, payment terms are determined. If a contract will be determined, these payment terms are overriding the standard determined ones. This contract includes 3 labor items. So a repair of this Wille product would be covered. The labor for this product would be, this labor would be covered in a diagnosis as well. We could exclude services and parts that would not be covered, but we decided against that. There would be usage restrictions, and that is the categorization. If you decide for a specific categorization as customer fault, as an example, the coverage would then denied. So then we wouldn't take this service incident and do the work for free. If I click here on covered objects, we didn't mention some here specifically on this item, because if you don't do that, all objects of the higher level item are covered. Okay, that was the contract. I will close these screens and I will go to the service work center. So just to show you, we have a queue of tickets, of incidents. We have tickets, work tickets, social media messages. So clicking here would be feasible, but we are in a hurry now, and customer calls I create here on this fast navigation on tickets. As said before, the heavy equipment company calls. So I enter the customer here and our main contact is automatically defaulted. If there would be several contacts, we could choose for a different one, the person who is actually on the phone. I will search, I will enter a service category, and I just decide for a product support. So the categories are customizable, the course category are customizable. At the end, everything. It's usually custom values in here. So the part is damaged. I decide for this course category, and there's a default about water leak that's not fitting to this demo. So for this reason, I decide for the error code. So the person on the phone tells me about the serial ID. I didn't understand the serial ID properly, so I just click on this help here, and I see, oh, there's just one registered product for this customer. So that's easy for our scenario. If there would be a multitude or hundreds of serial IDs, this search help is quite helpful. And we could search here by customer and ship to, and yeah, I will decide for this serial ID. And choosing this serial ID, the product is defaulted, and the system realized we have a standard 1-year warranty, and until when this warranty is good. I click on save. So until now, we were in a ticket. We could search for a solution, but that's not part of this demo. We could add some nodes, error codes, whatever. 808 is shown. Saving that. So, and we have some timelines here because we set up the system that depending on the reporting time, we have a reaction schemata. So our next response is due in 1 hour. So, and completion of this incident is tomorrow at the same time as the creation date, but that can be customized. So I switch to service and repair. So now we realized we have a part that is broken and the customer wants to have a repair. So he wants to send it back. So for this demo, we decided just to show you 2 items. So here we have our item list. We have to add a service that we want to do. So I could click here on add to add a product. And here I could use the product search. But there are so many products. I would like to have it easier. So we decided for this demo that we want to have some listings, so service listings. So I click here on this button and choose add from list. So these are some services we added here for this part that was the starting point of the registered product. So I will decide I want to have a repair item and a I want to have the repair and the diagnosis item, and I click on OK and take over both parts. So as you can see, out of this 1 product list, I took over 2 items, could have gone for more. So I forgot the diagnosis, or I misclicked. So actually, I wanted to have this. And I didn't want to have the second item, so I remove it. So, and I will save the first time. So here we should start with the diagnosis because we are expecting a part back. Since this is not part of the standard process, as you could hear in the early part of the presentation, we do not show this, that the part gets received. So for this scenario, we would have a third item about the returns request that would then be transferred to the S/4HANA system. So assuming now that the part is already received in the S/4HANA system, in the logistics, I click here on, now I first go to the edit mode. And here I have to decide if it's, what is this item? So here I can decide it's a billing request, complaint item. I decide for work item because some manual work has to be done. I forgot about here this field. We have to decide for a service technician team. That's not defaulted here in our scenario as of now. So we have a team, service team Cologne. So here you can see we decided for work. It has a requested start date, a requested end date, and here you can see the contract was determined for this item. So the system realized there's a contract valid for this kind of service. Here you can decide for goodwill 100% of a rebate. So in a normal situation, depending on the hours, a value is determined that we would invoice to the customer. So if there's a contract with 100% discount because these parts are covered, there's this coverage indicator here. There could be some restrictions here, but we didn't maintain that. Okay, so I save that first. And then I will release this diagnosis item for scheduling. I get an error message. Obviously, I did something wrong. Do it again. Then I will go for the repair item. Doing the same, setting this repair item as a work item. It's relevant for auto dispatching. There is another scenario where we just schedule, where we just determine that an item is dispatch relevant and a user has then to assign the service technician manually. So save that again. Here's the reason for the error message. The auto dispatch was unsuccessful because we booked too many time slots already. So I will go for this second item. So the first in that case, go to the edit mode and check for a different time frame. So I'm requesting a service that starts on the 24th. And here you can see that depending on this selection, the end date is calculated automatically. So so saving that, clicking on release for scheduling. And you can see here in the status that both items are in scheduling. I will close this ticket. I clicked wrong. I will click this ticket and switch now to the resource scheduler. That would be in a real scenario, a different role, a different person. But here it's as well me. I switch to the resource scheduler. That will last a bit. So here that's the Gantt chart that's shown, and depending on my default search, so there's a Sven's demand 01, I could click here on this field to show the filter. So I'm searching for the service team 1 in Germany. So that's defaulted here. So since I just said I want to search for, I want to have a time slot from the 24th on, you can see here that this item 3702 and the item 30 is now scheduled. So here now we are in this resource scheduler, and as a real person, so the system automatically will consider non-working time as breaks or any time where the service technician is not available. So being here in the scheduler, I could have a discussion with my service employee, and I'm allowed to move even the service incident to the break time of this employee. So going back to my service ticket. No, I will not change that. I save that. So we go back to the service and repair tab. We'll go to the change mode. The service technician can then go into this this service ticket here. Can change the actuals. He could say that he worked for 5 hours for the repair, for the diagnosis. It could be 3. And then the plant is adjusted by the actuals. But now, as it has to happen in the live demo and didn't happen in the preparation, we have now an error situation that we have one service technician too much. I will just delete one service technician. Error message is gone. Yeah, and I will finish work. So finishing the work means that this ticket is closed. So actually it was intended that I show you that the diagnosis comes first, and I close this diagnosis item that when then we send out via a printout the quotation to the customer, and when the customer agrees, then we would start with the repair process, and that would then finally close the loop. And then our second enhancement, as shown before in the presentation of Charlotte, would then hit in and send then this repair part back to the customer. So that's it from a demo perspective. That was what we wanted to show you. Please don't hesitate to contact us. If you're interested in these topics, would like to highlight that we can support you within business cases, proof of concepts, pilot implementations, application management support, and we are planning a C4HANA Inspiration Day in the next time. So yeah, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much for your participation. Hope this topic was interesting for you, and yeah, hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.